whispering while you cuddle near me, whispering so no one can hear me. Each little whisper seems to cheer me. I know it's true, there's no one, dear, but you. You're whispering why you'll never leave me, whispering why you'll never grieve me. Whisper and say that you believe me, whispering that I love you.
Just a song at twilight, when the lights are low and the flickering shadows softly come and go. Though the heart be weary, sad the day and long, still to us at twilight comes love's old song, comes love's old sweet song, sweet
Good night, sweetheart, till we meet tomorrow. Good night, sweetheart, sleep will banish sorrow. Tears and partings may make us forlorn. But with the dawn, a new day is born, so I'll say good night, sweetheart. Though I'm not beside you, good night, sweetheart. Still my love will guide you, dream and fold you. In each one I'll hold you. Good night, sweetheart. Good night, sweetheart. Good
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I've asked you to do something for me this evening that I first saw you do in Denver, Colorado. I was working with the late Tommy Noonan, and we followed George into the top of the park, I believe.
Right.
And I had heard about this George Gobel, and this...
Yeah, but you weren't too impressed when you first saw me standing there in my tuxedo.
I thought you were the maitre d'.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
right.
I said, boy, table, yes.
Well, I have a kind of a haughty look.
Yes, you certainly do. Yes. And I love the way your bangs go up.
Yeah.
Gabby said that. Anyway, I have asked George to do something that he has not done, and I guess the first thing I ever saw you do, and that's a lot of years ago.
A lot of years ago, Pete. Let's put it that way.
But you haven't done this on television, I guess, since your show.
No, I don't know if I even remember it.
Well, I hope you do, because I want you to be a hit.
Well, I hope so. I've said if things worked out and I got on this show, I might make a comeback. So I want to just do it right.
All right. George Gobel and the bowling ball.
All right. Thank you. I hate to start out a routine by complaining, but I mean, recently, I lost my bowling ball. Now, that's not a big deal to a lot of people, but you can see how it would affect a fellow's work, and especially if he were attached to it. And the way it happened, I was on my way back home from Texas, and I had the bowling ball right at my feet all the way back. Checked everything else, but now I got off the airplane, and I didn't have the bowling ball. I forgot to pick it up, is what happened, so... Turn the car around, and I make a U-turn, illegal, drive up and park in a no-parking place, run up to the lost and found department there, elbow my way past 14 people. I get up in front where the fellow's tending store, rather. And I grab him by the lapels. I said, "Say, partner, I just got back from Texas." That's what I said, "Say, partner," I said, "did you find a bowling ball?" He said, "Did you lose one?" I said, "No," and that's the way I always start conversations with people I don't know. I said, some people say, "Hadn't it been miserable weather lately?" And some of them say, "Haven't I seen you?" I always say, "Did you find a bowl?" He said, "Now, sir, there are certain procedures and curriculums that we carry through here in the location of a lost article. Now, first of all, what is your name?" I said, "My name is Gobel." I said, "Do you spell that with a G, Mr. Gobel?" I said, "Yes, I do spell it with a G." I said, "I used to spell it with an F, but people kept calling me Phobel all the time." See? I said, "Forgy Phobel is what they used to call me." I said, "But the thing is," he said, "Now, Mr. Gobel, let's not let blind rage and unreasoned passioning triumph over cool, calm judgment." When he said that, I didn't even answer him. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. You know, I couldn't... He said, "Now, first of all, Mr. Gobel, we must get certain things straight." He said, "Now, first of all," he said, "did you lose a bowling ball?" I said, "No." I said, "I happen to be a grape crusher in a winery, and I dropped in here to see if you could recommend a good place to get my feet bleached." Well, we laughed about that for a while, you know. Except him, you know, he liked to bear at the fair, you know. He said, "Now, first of all, Mr. Gobel, we're going to have a description of the lost article." I said, "Yeah, it was a bowling ball." He said, "Would you describe it for me, Mr. Gobel?" I said, "Yeah, it was, you know, I said it was a run-of-the-mill type of bowling ball, I would say. I said it was round, and it had 3 holes in it." He said, "And on which side were the holes, Mr. Gobel?" I said, "I believe they were on the outside, but I couldn't say for sure." But I said, that's usually the case with round bowling balls." I said, "Now, square bowling balls there." He said, "Now, Mr. Gobel, let's continue. What color was this bowling ball?" I said, "It was a sort of a burnt orange." He said, "Really, Mr. Gobel?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Isn't that a rather peculiar color for a bowling ball, Mr. Gobel?" I said, "Well, not when you stop to figure that my bowling shoes are sort of a smoked salmon with caramel beige laces." Well, he seemed to take a little more interest after that. I never figured that out, right? But he said, "I'll tell you what I want you to do, Mr. Gobel. I want you to forget about this for the time being, and I want you to go home. Just sit tight for a couple of days, and if we find your bowling ball, we'll send you a card." So I did. I went home. I sat tight for 4 days. You ever try that? Feel pretty lousy the 5th day, but you got 4 good ones going. So, you know, so now I get this card, and I'm back down there on a dead run. You know, and I run up there. I said, "Did you find?" He said, "Now, Mr. Gobel, I must tell you something. We found your bowling ball, but unfortunately, we seem to have lost it again." I said, "That's a pretty shrewd move you made there." I said, "I knew it was a high-line operation." And he said, "Now, Mr. Gobel, before you start getting angry, we're going to send you over to the found department. You see, they find things when we lose them." So now I go over to the found department, and the clown I bump in over there, he's no brighter than a kloof where I just left over here. Because I walk up, I said, "Look, did you find a..." He said, "What is your name?" I said, "My name is Go." He said, "Do you spell?" I said, "I do. Spell it with a G." That is the first letter I spell with a G, because if I spell it all with a G, it would be gug. He said, "I've heard about you." He said, "And you're never going to be a success in this world, Mr. Gobel." I said, "Really?" He said, "No, you're too hot-headed." He says, "You fly off at the handle." I said, "That way?" He said, "Yes, you do. You fly off at the handle." He said, now I want you to forget about this for the time being. I want you to go home and get a grip on yourself. Well, you can laugh, but this turned out to be more fun than sitting tight for 4 days. But anyway, Pete, you know, I don't have a finish for this thing.
George Gobel. I love it. I still like it, Dave.